my lovely family members. I am Margaret Ellen Coolsen Bossardet, and I was born January 4, 1939 at 10:33 p.m. at St. Mary's Hospital. I have a little booklet here that my mother spent a little bit of time in that you guys can see, and it had some things in there like I sat without support at 7 months. I crept at 9 months. My first steps were November 18, 1939, when I was 10 and a half months old. My first words were mama, bye-bye, here's mama, and all gone. And I was playing peekaboo at 9 months. First baby tooth at June 29th of 1939, my first of 20. Then I was baptized, don't you know? Baptized Sunday, January 29 of 1939 at St. Mary's Church at 2 p.m. Reverend J.J. Ammon. Sponsors were my Aunt Ann Nowicki and Uncle John Savage. The party followed with my aunts and uncles, Grandma Brice, and my little cousins. My first snapshot was May of 1939 when I was 4 months old, and it's in this little book here. My siblings said I was born into. Raymond James, he was born November 20th, 1930. Carol Ann was born October 13th of 1932. Donna Marie was born on April 19th, 1934. Phyllis was born August 9, 1937. She had no middle name. Michael Gregory was born November 7, 1946. So he came after me. A few words for my mom and dad. I will just give you the dates they were born and the dates they died. It's just something that would be a good thing for you kids to know. My dad was born November 28, 1902, died June 6, 1991 at the age of 88. My mom was born May 14, 1907, died August 18, 2004. She was 97. My dad was a hard worker. He had 3 jobs and to support the family. This is the first house that he owned, so he had extra bills that he had to attend to that he didn't use to take. Mom was an extraordinary homemaker. She just everything was to perfection, and she cooked like nobody else. She was fantastic in her meals, never late on the meals, always well-rounded meals, and she baked beautiful, beautiful things that I never cooked anything in the kitchen. She did everything. So when I got married, I was at a little handicap, but and for Christmas, she would spend an afternoon making 1 brand of cookies for her that she would pack into the tins. And I mean, they weren't plain, they were with fillings and everything. And the next day she'd do another one. She had all kinds of Christmas cookies and Christmas fudge. And it was just, I've never seen anybody making such a presentation like that. We only got 1 present, but what else she gave, plus all the the good food that she made. She was something else. But I wish I had more time to spend just with her by herself, sitting on her lap, maybe her just hugging me and giving me a little smooch on the cheek or something, or telling me she loved me. That would be a nice thing. That was just taken for granted, and I knew that, so I guess it really didn't matter, but I would have liked to be closer. And my dad, I hardly knew either, because he was working nights and he had 3 jobs. But I was told he graduated from St. James Elementary and when he graduated from Catholic Central, uh, he I was told he had the best academic record for his grade, so he must have been a little smarty. So kudos to my dad, and I'm just so thankful that we had them and a good Christian family. When I was born, my folks were living at 614 Turner Avenue Northwest, between 3rd and 4th Streets. You can no longer see Turner, nor you can no longer see Scribner, because all of those streets were completely raised for the 131 Expressway. So we lost a lot of neighborhoods that way. That I don't remember. Next one was on Whitcomb on the west side, but all of these houses were rentals. But the next one was Jackson. Now I remember Jackson. Brice brought Carol and I in there after the fact to see it as a realtor, and that was really a good thing for us. That was very interesting. They had a front porch that was right on the corner of Pine and Jackson. And I remember, I must have been about 4, if that. I remember sitting on the front porch with Mother, and I, just to be funny, I was underneath her chair all in a fetal position. She was laughing. She thought that was funny for some reason. But I remember that, so I could have been 3.5, 4. Webster was a disaster. Next one was on 712 Broadway. I remember most on Broadway. You can't see it now because it was torn down many years ago along with the 2 others next to it, and they never rebuilt on it. Had my first communion there in 1945 at 6 years old, and looky here, I still have my little communion book. I picked the cheapest looking one with no frills in it because I had some idea that my mother had a tough time getting money together, so I must have heard her complaining. So this ugly little book here that I would have liked the frilliest, the prettiest little thing. But anyway, I have it. And on Broadway, what I played with on Broadway, I felt bad when Phyllis went to school. She was 1.5 years older than I, and it was really lonely. And favorite toys were dolls. I loved dolls. I played dolls even when we went to Garfield. I think I was about 13 or 14 when my mother bought me my last doll, and I wish I knew what happened to it. I don't have it. And she had 2 beautiful doll baby buggies that Carol and Donna used. I mean, they weren't like the cheapies today in plastic. They were like a real perambulator. And I would put my dolls in there, take them for a walk around the block. I just loved them. Paper dolls were popular, so you had to cut them all out, and then you had to play with them and change their clothes and all that sort of thing. I love to play with dollhouse furniture. Never had a dollhouse though. And I had a little white lamb that I liked an awful lot. I pretended it was a dog, and I'd have a leash around it, and I thought that was pretty cool. And then later on, when we were at Garfield, it was Nancy Drew mystery books. Boy, those were exciting. And I read as many as I could. Bobbsey Twins and 5 Little Peppers. And we did a lot of library work, a lot of walking to get down to it. and we moved to when we moved to Webster. That was my Uncle John Rock's vacant house. It was a two-family thing, and it was just a mess. We lived in there for a few months till Pappy finally bought a house on Garfield. We were all crammed in the bottom floor of that thing. My mother had a bad deal with cockroaches coming from the upstairs and down into her meticulously clean areas. She didn't like that very well. But we did get to Garfield in November of 1947. Mickey had his first birthday there. I was 8 and I was in the 4th grade. So I started school early. "1216 Garfield Avenue Northwest" was the house that my dad bought. My mother didn't care for it. She said there's not enough bedrooms, this, that, and the other thing, but she grew to love it, just like I, when I first went into this house here in Vermont. I thought, get me out of here. But Dad says, no, I can fix it. So, and thankfully he did. I love it here. But, okay, so we never knew he was buying it. We didn't know beforehand what it looked like. So Mother says, well, when you get out of school at St. Mary's, get on the Leonard bus, tell the bus driver to let you off at Leonard and Garfield. And we're the 3rd house down. So that spooked me all out. I think Phyllis was with me though, so that wasn't too bad, because those things scared me. But anyway, and Auntie Ann was there helping Mother clean the kitchens and things like that, getting things ready. So that was my homestead, and I lived there until I got married. Alrighty, well, we never went on a vacation. We never went. So what we did on Garfield is we had to walk about 10 blocks to Richmond Park for the swimming. We loved to do that every day. We'd walk that way and spend the afternoon there, or in the wintertime we took our sleds down the hill, or we brought our ice skates, and that's what we did with the school kids too. We would all meet there and we'd do some ice skating. That was our entertainment. We had some girls next door, Jane and Marcia Hovinga. They were approximately our age, so we did a lot with them. We liked to play dolls. We would set up a blanket over the clothesline. That was our house, and we'd be in there and we just have a good old time, and that's all we did. I met Judy. That was my one. Judy was up the hill and on Crosby Street. She was just a block away, and she made life exciting for me. And the Morgans took me camping up north at Silver Lake, and we did wonderful things. Judy says, let's walk across the sand dunes to Lake Michigan, and I said, yeah, right, you know how to do it? Okay, when we were on Broadway, my mother sent me to school early. I was only 5, should have been 6, and I had no kindergarten experience, no school experience at all. So I was extremely bashful, extremely scared, extremely everything. Well, my 1st grade teacher was Sister Elsa, just a little mite of a thing. And in the morning, we met at church for Mass, and then came over in groups by classes to our our regular classroom. And Sister Elsa says, Margaret, will you take this missile and wait for Sister Jessia when she comes through with her 6th grade class and give this to her? And I says, oh my, I says to myself, I can't do that. And I said out loud, oh, I don't want to do that. I was scared. I couldn't. I thought, what if I don't get her? What if they go fast? I can't get her. What am I going to do? So little Billy Tiley says to her sister, she says she doesn't want to do it. And Sister says to him, well, you tell her I don't want her in my classroom either. So I picked up and I went out and stood outside. I guess I was supposed to apologize to her. She didn't understand. She thought I was being a sassy little thing. I was not. I was frightened and I just couldn't do it. So therefore, then she comes out and starts pushing me in the supply room that was and shutting the door. I'm screaming, pushing out. She's got a strap. She's strapping me. I'm pooping my pants. I'm so nervous and screaming, and finally I got out of there, and that she called for Ray, who was in the 9th grade, to come and take me home because she could smell that. And of all days, my mother wasn't there, so I didn't know I had those long johns on. I just scooped it out and went back to school. But that to me, that was a horrible abuse, and that marked my years at St. Mary's, because the nuns all lived together in the convent, and they said, oh, you're going to get Margaret, she's terrible. And so I didn't have a very good time with the nuns there. However, I'm thankful for the education, because I got a mighty fine job at the end of my life, and it was with the education that I got at St. Mary's. But that was not the good thing, and I didn't want to tell it, but Brice said I have to. So therefore, you got any problems, you see that Brice here. So I've never been camping before, being as how we never did any of that stuff. But the Morgans were just so very, very generous to me, and she made such wonderful meals out there in the campground. And Mr. Morgan finally got me up on water skis. He tried. And finally, I got up on water skis, but I never tried it again. But we were swimming to the dock, diving off the dock and such like that. That was a lot of fun. And our many trips to the library, we had to walk all the way to Bridge Street to the library for our books. When school was out, that's all we had for entertainment, as well as the other things. And I was friends with Judy till she died. So she was a very, very good friend of mine. I appreciated her very much, and we did a lot of fun things. I mean, she'd do fun things that we would never think of doing. Mother, once a summer, she would take her kids to Ramona Park. So we had to take the bus, transfer downtown to the Chariot bus line, and go all the way down there. That was a huge park. That's where Brice lives now. They had every type of carnival games or fun or anything. It was all there. Plus they had the big boat that was across the street on the lake, and we would get on there and have a ride on there too. They had Cheapers Funhouse. They had Ferris wheels. They had everything, and that was so special. But by the time we got home with the 2 buses, we were full. But it was a wonderful thing. She did that once a year, and I imagine that it was hard on her too, because you know, and I'm sure, you know, she spent money on that. So that every time I go to Brice's house, I remember Ramona Park. It was something I sure wish it was there. Okay, after elementary, St. Mary's was the last grade to have a ninth grade there. So most of us stayed there. Some went ahead to what they called West Catholic, and that was just the second floor of St. Adalbert's elementary school, because there was no building for that. So that was a good year. We had a real sweet nun for that one, Sister Eldred, and so that's where I stayed there. Judy stayed there too, and once again we were still friends. And then in the 10th grade, we had to go to St. Adalbert's second floor there, where the West Catholic was, and we met all kinds of girls there from the West Side. That's where I met Norma, Sigma, Corby, and we St. Maryites. We joined their group, their clique, and there was like about 15, 16 of us all together, and we did a lot together. We did a lot of slumber parties. For birthdays, everybody chipped in, and we all got a long sleeve V-neck sweater, and we just had a real good time. We still see those girls the last Tuesday of each month, the ones that want to, for just to get together. We were a close bunch, and I'm thankful for that. Well, then that was just 10th grade. 11th and 12th, we had to go to Sheldon to East Catholic, and yeah, there was about 400 of us there. That's more big time, and you didn't get to know everybody. And there was a lot of the East Siders that were a little snotty, but we still stuck. Our West Catholic gang still stuck together. We had a good time. We graduated in 1956. After we graduated, a whole bunch of girls, and I mean a bunch, we rented a cottage at Grand Haven. It was up a multitude of steps. My word, it was way up there. So we all pitched in, and we stayed there, and did the beach scene, and picked up Snatch, and we had a good time. Well, Judy came back with a guy, and his name was Bob Fonger. So he came up to see her, and we were all sitting on the large front porch, and somebody was combing my long hair, and he was just sitting there staring at me. He wanted to date me. So he was my very first real love that had magic in it. And after he went into the service, and after 2 years, that was it. His mom and dad didn't think marrying a Catholic girl was a good thing. He had college, and he would be having babies all over the place, so he broke up. It was a big deal for me. But over and done with. So then I was working at Michigan Bell, my first big job. I think I cleared $60 a week, and I didn't know what to do with it at first. It was too much money for me. So I remember coming home and saying, Donna, here's $20. I don't know what to do with it. And she says, oh, okay, I'll take it. And then we went, Morgan and I went to see Judy McDonald O'Brien in California, and we spent 2 weeks there, and we drove over to Las Vegas, and we saw 2 dinner shows. One was Engelbert Humperdinck, and the other one was Anne Murray. And I'm telling you, that was fantastic. Should have seen Engelbert. He was something else. He had on a one-piece jumpsuit with a V-neck all the way to the navel. boy, he can sing. He can sing, he can sing. So we did things. And then I wanted to learn how to dance, how to ballroom dance. So I joined Arthur Murray. And so did Judy McDonald. She joined too. And a couple of our male classmates were teachers there too. Well, anyway, on Friday night we would have a party there where they would just have no lessons, just dancing and little refreshments. And then after that, that was with my friends, and we went to the Oasis Bar on one of the side streets downtown. They have a live bar, live band, and dancing there. And Dad was there, and he asked me to dance. And so I did, and he was surprised that I knew the dance steps that he was doing. And so we talked. We came back to our table and talked, and he said, I plan on going out shooting my gun tomorrow in the woods. You want to go too? And I said, sure, I'll go. So we started dating. That was October 1, and we saw each other every night. And October 12th, he proposed, and I said yes. And we had to wait till after the season of Lent, because that's a sorrowful season. You can't have good times in the sorrowful season, don't you know? So April 8th was the first Saturday after Lent. And so he had a house trailer, and it was at 3744 Clyde Park, Shady Oaks Trailer Park. A lot of oak trees. And it was 8 feet wide, 35 feet long. He paid $1,500 for it and sold it for $1,500 when we got this house on Vermont. So his brother Dave lived with him until we were engaged, and then Dave left, and then we started cleaning up and getting the place ready because we wanted to spiffy it up for us for when we were living there. So, and he was working at Lear Siegler, and that's when the children started coming. When we moved here in Granville, love the town of Granville, Uncle Art had a little cabin up north in Irons, and he says, do you guys want to go in on that, and so you could have some fun time up there? And we said, yeah, we would do that, and Bert could go deer hunting with him and such. So that's what we did. It was nothing fancy, of course, just one little small little cabin with bunk beds all over, and we had to pump the water, and outhouse. It was an outhouse, and we took the kids. We took the kids up. We took them when we had the truck camper. We just packed that up, and we just all went and had a good time with Mother Nature, and it was our relaxing time. I look forward to that because I had 2.5 weeks vacation and from Amway then, and that was something that I liked very much. So kids were all given their big beer case, and they painted or papered it, and they were told to pack everything they needed, but make sure you have stuff for cold nights, for warm nights, for any toys you wanted, whatever. It's your responsibility. So And they all had one. We had 6 of those. I wonder whatever happened to those. Never know. But we've been going up now to irons since then. It's been as long as we've been here in Vermont. We also went, when I was working at Rogers Department Store, we took off 2 weeks, and we did have that truck camper again. And we went on, Brice, you were 3. I think you were about 3. You were still little. And we had Brandy. It's just like little Archie. We took Brandy too, and we packed up that camper, and we had a little ice box in there, and we had a cooking outfit that we would have in the campgrounds. We went down all the way down to Florida, and on the way down we stopped at many of the Civil War camps. We were at one at Becky's birthday, and there was a Union and a rebel on a horse there, and they just wished her happy birthday and such. We went through a lot of places to see on the way down, and we went to, well, before we even got that far, we went to Cedar Point, and that was fun. And we went all the way down to Disney. And Brice was so little that when we were watching this parade at Disney in the evening, he fell asleep on Dad's shoulders. He was so tired. So we had a wonderful time. We stopped at most of the KOA campgrounds because they were all bona fide good campgrounds, because some are advertised for miles, and you get there and there's nobody there. There's nothing there. So he says KOA from now on. So we got a catalog, and that's how we went. So we had fun up there. We had fun. My mother thought for sure I was going to lose all my kids, but I didn't. Remember that, Brice? I bought hooded sweatshirt jackets, red were they the boys, or it was orange the boys? Either the girls had red and the boys had orange, or vice versa, so that I could see them instantly. There's groups of 3, I could see them, with the colors. And we never let them alone in the water. We were always right there, so we weren't worried at all. But I had a wonderful time. I had a wonderful time. We ate out at least once. Their favorite place was a pancake house. So they always wanted to stop at the pancake house and eat their fill. So you all know, this is my little companion. His name is Bosley. He was born on Brenna's birthday. He will be 3 this May 12th. So this is Bosley, and he likes to look at the outside with me and just relax. Okay, accomplishments. My greatest accomplishment are the 6 children that God so graciously gave me to grow up for Him. They are His children, and He let me take care of them and bring them up as best I could, and they are my jewels. Absolutely my jewels. And Dad was such a good helper in taking care of them and getting them ready for bed, and just said, hey, these are our children, and we will take them wherever we go that we can take them. That's my accomplishment, and I'm so thankful. I have no regrets. No, I have no regrets. None whatsoever. I'm just thankful for all the blessings that God gave me through the years. And I'm just enjoying the wonderful adults that my children have morphed into. I mean, they're just fantastic. All different, It makes it very enjoyable. And yeah, we've had hard times, but I don't dwell on those. I dwell on just the good times. Anything that brings happiness to my soul is what I think of. And this is the world. This is how life goes sometimes. And hey, I'm very thankful. Very, very thankful.